Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. I'm Pxy-CLASS and this is another of those strange lectures, and actually what I'm going to do now is just a fair presentation, very short, of Eyelashes, because I found out that the way I even have a tutorial on Eyelashes rig, so it's this sort of integrated, no, sorry, I need to find my own stuff, so where's that, some tutorials here, yeah, this one, so very long, okay.
Clinicamente comprovado, reduz a queda em mês.
Very long sorry about that. Oh, again, so yeah, about integrated ice rig. Let's take for example, so I have a very long tutorial, yeah, split in 21 episodes of about 15 minutes each one, so it's not that long, but yeah, it's about 6 hours I think of content. And of course, the eyelashes there are a pretty important part, is near the end. But at that time, you see these are from, where is the date of YouTube video? Well, should was a way to look at that. Okay, so I don't know, but this is a tutorial like 2 years ago, I think, maybe last year, but in the beginning of last year, yeah, something like that. So what happened here is that I've used for that tutorial the complicated transformation bone constraint to give this sort of additive posing, or some way to control the up and down motion, especially of the eyelashes, so they be dynamic. And after I've been researching on proportional posing, which I have been showing on the last class, that will be like the eyelid stuff that I'm using the model here, right? This is on Gumroad. By the way, yes, and now I found a way to get the bottom. There's no eyelash rig yet, but here on the top, yes. So it's an iteration of what I've done originally, but I'm not using the complicated transformation bone constraints. Instead, what I'm using is either one or more copy transforms bone constraints, because these are responsible for proportional posing. So you see, of course, we have some limitations regarding certain controls, but maybe you lose a bit of control in relation to the. I'm not totally sure about that. I cannot state that for sure. But for example, if I wanted this to move much more up and down, I think maybe the proportional bone constraint would have a bit more capability on that. However, what we have here is just that the eyelash bone, which is a deformed bone, I'll make that from scratch in the same video, right? From scratch, I mean from this setup on the Gumroad. So actually, let me, just in case you're not aware, let's try to get, yeah, I have some products, yeah, so this is my Gumroad page. So this 4 eyelids rig setups for dynamic and expressive eyelids posing, but this is just eyelids rig, right? So what I have here is yeah, so this link here, and yeah, this for edition actually. Where is the link? Should be that. Yeah, so here this file. So okay, it's free, and I'm using this file because I needed to test this on a fresh rig with eyelids, or at least. And so okay, so here is the rig, and then I'm using here the first setup, which is with spline skinning and shrink wrap modifiers. So, but my plan would be to check if this would, how this would work. But certainly it would work. Most certainly it should work on any setup here, like with converted bendy bones, with proportional posing, with a legion of mini bones, and with hybrid setup. And yeah, but I'm doing this one because this is my favorite one for 3D animation in Blender, at least, and that's what I'm mostly into currently. And so so no need exporting here, so we just have these deforming bendy bones in their respective bendy bone splines, and then they are deforming the eyelids. And here what we have is a mesh. So this is very similar to what eyelash mesh for the top eyelash and the bottom eyelash. As you see, it's just a simple edge loop. It's not an edge loop, it's a, well, yeah, okay, we could say it's an edge loop. It's not an edge ring though, it's an edge loop. All right, so yeah, just one vertex, one line of vertex that simplifies and that facilitates the motion. We don't need, you see, it's very curvy. And there is here, because we use object modifiers, this is not required, but I've made shrink wrap. So the idea started with, what if the, just as for the eyelids mesh, what if the, instead of trying to control the eyelashes through just armature, why don't we give this mesh, right, some automation in regarding to the eye surface. So that's why the shrink wrapping outside surface, well, that will snap to the, oh yeah, so that's kind of limiting, although it's not being respected because it interacts with the bones. But let's see what happens if I made this outside. Those are on surface, yes, so there are some differences. Yeah, eyelashes, right? So what these do is the fall. Oh, I remember why this is not a problem. Is because we can be outside surface, because the vertex groups, which is one left and right, because we have different eyes to snap to two objects, right? Eye surface left, eye surface right. They also, because I have a mirror modifier, but in this case most likely because you have two different eyes to shrink wrap, right? So it will be obligatory to have this system. So two object modifiers here, and so what here, right? Their vertex group, actually, if we go on wave painting, are, you see, no, this is not the correct vertex. The vertex is this mod here. As you can see, it's not waved equally, like everything assigned to one. No, already from the modifier itself we have a preference of which vertices are going to shrink wrap to the eye surface more. So this will be like one, this is the inner corner for this particular character design I've decided, so they will be very strongly shrink wrapped, Well, as we go out, I smooth that out, just smoothing out, right? Okay, it's locked right now, so I cannot smooth directly, but that's okay. I don't intend to make change anyway, but it was just like that, right? I have maximized one, like something like that, and then I just smooth it out gradually, this being much less, but and yeah, so what would do is that that part would be much more free to, although it is still shrink wrapping, we can see that if I yeah, you see there are some changes there on the mesh, on the eyelashes mesh, but especially on the in that part, so we can control already some following shapes, conforming positioning of the eyelash in regarding to the surface of the eye, the curved surface. So that was one idea. This is not necessary, but it's an alternative. You see, if I turn this off, so there's no shrink wrapping now whatsoever, and because of the, and it still works fine, so it's not really necessary, but it's a safeguard. And here's the idea that the tweak bones or control bones for the eyelids, they don't push the eyelids because the eyelids are shrink wrapped in a different way, so they don't leave the eye surface, but the eyelash, just in case we need, they do, and we can actually still manipulate them individually. So before we go on the bone constraint, well, let's go right now. So instead of having complicated copy transforms, not copy transforms, transformation bone constraint, which it's very painful and takes time to organize. Here what we have is just that I have the eyelash deform bone parented to the tweak eyelid of the respective middle, so just one for each. They have exactly the same start position and rest position, and then because of the parenting it goes, and because it starts on the same, you see, bone constraints are not affecting it, so it just moves exactly along. However, okay, so it rotates, it does everything, so this rotation is not bad for the eyelash. I believe it's fine. Yeah, it's good. But then what we must be aware of is that if I have just this system, okay, I have good eyelash rig, but you see, as the eyes close, we don't have something really beautiful or very natural here, and this is annoying for character design. So we need, for 3D character, so we need to give some, oh yeah, we could manually pose that, but we can automate, you see, we could automate this by adding to this bone a copy transforms, like above the parenting. So we have the parenting, and then we have on top of the parenting we have a copy transforms. So what does that do is that it will on proportional posing we need to use target local space with owner orientation. I think it could be local space here, but let's skip this, is safer, I think, by default. Yeah, so because they have the same orientation, this really won't matter actually, but I prefer by default using this, just in case I change something. This is more safe. And here the mix we could put replace, but then we cannot manually pose, so I think this is not good. This will be before original fold, this will be smarter. So just in case we could make tweaks. So and these bones would not even appear on for 3D animation usually. So you see, the bone already has some proportional posing, because it's stacking the parenting relation, which would be like a copy transforms at 100 influence, and it's stacking another 100 influence to the copy transforms. And so this gives us, so yeah, I can move up and down. So yeah, we must be aware that these copy transforms also affect the left and right thing, but this is okay. This is not disrupting our, this actually is helping. So this is actually good, because we can get some interesting tweaks on the eyelash. So far I haven't found terrible problems regarding this. So this inner part usually is more delicate so to solve, but we need to solve all of them simultaneously, and to have the final shapes of the eyelash that we want. But the middle one is the most important one usually, so that's why we probably want more than one. But since we cannot, what we can do is add a second. So you just shift D here, we duplicate that thing, so that it will, so I have a duplicate here, it's exactly the same thing, but it has a bit more of influence. So that makes that whatever motion I do here, you see it goes more than 100. And then of course I can even get this to 100. If I'm not satisfied, I can even have another one, and then here maybe I reduce this. So here we have and we can stack as many as we want. Technically I could also use these copy transforms on another target, but I don't think this is necessary, because we already have the wave painting working on here. And actually something that I want, yeah, those bones are actually for wave painting, and they're wave painting, not to be confused with the previous modifier vertex groups that I have here for the shrink wrap, which I've already mentioned is not necessary. They're not even, ignore the the bottom eyelash here. I didn't rig it yet. So here you see what would be different here if I change the shrink wrap. Let's see, so now it's turned on. If I turn this off for the left, yeah, so the eyelash is much less, the top eyelash, the left top eyelash then is much less constrained with the shrink wrap modifier to the eye surface. So this is like an organizer, right? But really it's not necessary, because I just don't have to pose this bone like that, right? So I can have good results just by this. But I believe that the shrink wrap is a good addition to maintain a better, more solid shape, more organized shape. So that's why I maintain it. On my original rig I haven't thought about this opportunity of using this, but it just works just as the other features of this eyes rig, with the eyelids border and whatever. So I think it's a good idea, and it's stable enough. Nothing seems to go wrong in this Blender. There's no stack of on the window console window here. You see here, toggle system console. There's nothing. The eye surface can have indeed these different combinations of shrink wrapping, everything shrink wrapping to it, different parts of the same mesh object. There's different vertex groups on the same mesh object, which is the face, the eyes region mesh object, whatever this, the face, the body. So and this mesh is connected, the eyelids mesh, yes, it's these faces, but these are connected vertices, And as I've extruded this and this, I've extruded the whole this whole loop here outside, and then the normals, I don't remember which are the normals for yeah, the normals may be wrong here, maybe not, but it doesn't matter. This is a simple shape, right? So, and I give that that black color, so it's really not relevant. We could probably create a, I think it could be complicated, but if I create a solidify only on these faces, maybe that could solve, but I'm afraid this could create some issues. Let's try something here. Let's leave this, sorry, let's leave this, oh no, what is this, what, oh, okay, what is this thing? Okay, so here, yeah, so I've extruded, then I made sure that this mesh, oh yes, I should have used auto normalize when I wave paint that. It probably holds data from, yeah, these vertices hold data from the eyelids mesh, and this is wrong. You see this deforms, but I could delete one by one. But the best thing is just to wave paint this with auto normalize the eyelash mesh, so it just gets wave painting normalized for the deformed bones. Just start with one bone, like the middle one, and all red with auto normalize. Then, because now I've already painted, so I'll redo this from scratch, the eyelash, so we'll see the process. Alright, so this is not a deformed bone, where is it? Here. So this is the wave painting. So you see, this is just a secured, just the tips there, these vertices are wave paint, using vertex selection here. So I have this selection, and on wave paint mode I can enable, disable, and then wave paint only those vertices. So what if I, instead of having the armature, so for example, let's disable these as deformed bones all at once, and now I just have the object modifiers. I'm curious about something here, so I have, so without, so you see here I'm the mesh, oh I see, I need to clear out, yeah, let's do something here real quick. I want to clear out those, otherwise I cannot be sure what happens. So, little mistake that I've made on this quick file auto normalize, maximum 1, and let's paint all here. Strangely, it's not, no, I want to add red to everything. Okay, so this should have taken off every influence from the armature, from the eyelids bones, right? So if I select one vertex here, we might look here that, well, they don't seem to have been neutralized, strangely, so this didn't totally work. So let's do different then. Yeah, I need the selection. I want to shift K on 0, set wave rate. Need a selection, there we go. However, these vertices should still have, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is just, yeah, except for the mod, so I'm gonna delete, at least there are not too many, so I cannot delete, it's locked. Okay, that's good. So can I, isn't there an operator to delete all that at once? No, I think not. So this is a bit complicated. I don't know, the auto normalize, yeah, it worked, but it kept this strangely. Alright, then, so maybe extrusion is not the smartest idea here. The fact is that when I start modeling the eyelashes, usually I do it before wave painting, so that we don't have to care about this thing, right? In this case, I've created the eyelashes on top of this rig, which was already working without. So here you see that there's no control of the mesh of the eyelashes, but we have the shrink wrap. Oh, we don't have. Okay, now we have the shrink wrap modifier, and yes, yeah, so basically it doesn't budge it stays shrink wrapped. It doesn't have dynamic motion, right? So it doesn't do nothing. So that's of course that's not good. So we need the, I thought that maybe this would have some interesting interaction just to follow the surface of the eye alone, but I think we need wave painting. So and by just having the eyelids as it was originally, right? So what I can do, if I reopen here my file, eyelash tests, so if I just disable this, I can disable this as deformed bones right now. So now we can sort of test what I was trying to test, because this mesh now, the eyelash mesh, has still wave painting similar to the similar to the respective original vertices from the eyelids mesh. So you see this vertex extruded from that, so this from that, so it took its properties, many of them, so include wave painting. So these eyelashes here, even though there's the deformed bone is completely useless, right? You see, everything is working despite of these deformed bones. What is not working though is some sort of because the deformed bones, which is the bendy bone, it's not moving forwards, the eyelash is not following up, so it stays in place. And also because of the, so you see the shrink wrap modifier helps it to conform to certain certain distance, right? So we can make several adjustments there, but ultimately this is not enough, because we don't have much. This could be enough, right? We might not even need that. So this could be enough, just extruding eyelashes, right? And they use exactly the wave paint of the eyelids. But I think this is not good enough because there's no flow here. It's very subtle. Yeah, it's still, that's his interesting part, is because the eyes has this curvature and there's the shrink wrap modifier. The mesh is still trying to adapt to the normal, I guess, of the eye surface. So there's still some natural motion there, but because this eye is not so big or so roundish, this is very, very subtle, and I don't think that is good enough, at least not for this character design. So, oh, actually, it was happening even without the shrink wrap, so maybe it's just because of the rotation of the bones. Yeah. So even with this turned on, there's no, it's not massive enough. So this is why the idea of having deformed bones here is a good idea. So folks, what I'm going to do here is show how easy it is to make this setup. Of course, after we have a eyelids rig already, preferentially. So I need to, yeah, so I'm gonna start from this file, which is the one we download from Gumroad, and I'm going to, yeah, so first I'm gonna save this as eyelashes here. So the idea will be to add eyelashes on top of this, but okay, I'm not gonna work on all setups. In this one we use shrink wrap modifiers, but on the other setups we use shrink wrap bone constraints. I haven't tested this yet, but I believe instead of shrink wrap modifiers, if we want, we can, because the shrink wrap modifier is not really necessary for the eyelashes rig. For this eyelash rig, we can probably discard, but we could use shrink wrap bone constraints instead. I believe that would work. So how are we gonna build this? I'm just gonna make for the top eyelash because it's so picking this, so extrude this on y-axis, and then what I do, I delete these faces here. I'm going to paint these, not paint, I'm going to give this, you see this is the same mesh, so these are connected vertices here, but we don't budge the one for the eyelids. So this, first thing of all, before I even do anything, I unlock the left ones, which hold data. This is just an empty vertex group for the mirrored side, because we have a mirror modifier, so you don't need to touch them, there's nothing anyways. So I just need to select this, and you see it extruded the data along. So we need to pick this and remove this. So now the shrink wrap eyelids. I just got an idea here, folks. We could do all this in the same vertex group. Yeah, with the same modifier. I just would have to change the eyelids uses outside surface. Yes. You see, this is maximized, so what I have to do is, on the strategy, it's a simplification, so I think it's accurate. So maybe we don't need additional, and eyelids borders. I think this wasn't, those are inside, so this was not, so it's just, we need to edit it. So what I'm gonna do is So this will include the eyelashes, right? I just got this idea. I think this is good stuff. So I need this and this. Wave paint mode. Now it's all unlocked, so I can wave paint only these selections. So what we're gonna do here, I'm going to wave this on, like, yeah, it doesn't need to be accurate, but let's start with a whole Shift K on that. You see, it's already trying to conform to the eye surface, which is what we want. But then let's blur the exterior part, so it should start, no, it's taking waves actually, so I need to do something to, yeah, so let's do this instead. So I'm gonna reduce the externals here. Yeah, because it's taking these waves as reference for blurring, so it's adding waves instead of reducing. So here we can, yeah, let's reduce this a lot. Let's do very mechanical here. And that part could have the most, yeah, this looks good. All right, then we start reducing, no, this is wrong. I'm gonna use the same data, maximum strain. This is shift right mouse button, no, shift control left mouse button click, so I can get exactly the same values there. This doesn't look that good, but let's keep this equal. Right, and last one, which has just very slight amount of waves. Already done? Yeah, already done. Okay, so this means, okay, let's lock that. This makes that the eyelashes is naturally shrink wrapped, so I haven't thought about that before, but that's fine. The shape of the eyelash is not good. Let's take off this move this to the bottom for a moment. We need also to make additions, right? So this will take a while. Keep saving here, eyelashes. Yes, this is the correct file. So I could maybe, yeah, let's select this. Actually, select both at the same time. No, I'm on proportional editing. This is bad for this case. So let's make first this kind of rotation here. Let's do this a little more here. Then, yeah, so because here the eyes are going closed, we're not gonna make this very high, right? And this is not very low, so they are sort of half closed. So we're gonna get a very subtle positioning, because as it's closed, these faces are actually, these will move down and these will move up slightly. Yeah, these are more important to move up and down, but this also is good. So remember, this is very character designish stuff. So so here we can yeah, we can also smooth this out. No, need the show gizmo. All right. Another reason show gizmo doesn't appear is if the animation is playing by accident. So yeah, then it doesn't, the gizmo doesn't show. So this is, there should be other reasons why it might not appear. So this sometimes is very annoying to get back. So here, this is the last one. Maybe should go. Yeah, this mesh will be shrink wrapped anyway on those values, so it's like I can do many things here. It doesn't need to be that accurate, but yeah, you see much better shapes now. Here maybe I can exaggerate here. We can create, so we can play with the mesh here, this very low poly thing, and still get pretty results. This is up to you, to the character design we're doing. So in principle, I think this is good. So we still don't have the bones, but you see we are already having good dynamic eyelashes anyways. They are moving in sync with the eyelids mesh, and you see as the effect of shrink wrapping, we didn't even have to create additional ones. So what we're gonna do is eyelids, eyelashes, and so here eyelids, eyelashes. And so because yeah, we are using the same functionality. If we were to disable that, this will cause wreak havoc in this particular system, so I'm not gonna mess with that. So it's one for both, except that the eyelashes are less constrained, so it doesn't go shrink wrap directly to the eye surface like the, otherwise it will look like it will flatten out, right? So this is good improvement. Now I want the controllers, and this will require armature deform stuff. So this will be like pretty simple. Let's yeah, so I need to add a bone here. Then I'm gonna align it exactly with this, and I'm gonna parent it. No, not yet. Yeah, we can parent it to this. I'm gonna call this eyelash, yeah, def eyelash. It's not a control bone necessarily. Left 001, because it's just 1, 2, and 3. So all right. Then I'm gonna shift D and shift D. This one I'll move it there and align here, and also parent it since we are doing this. And this one is to active, right? Selection cursor to active, so it goes the head of the bone, and selection to cursor, and then align and parent. And okay, so these are not yet deformed bones, I think. Let's see. Yes, they are. So what we're going to do is give them some color. In this case, I have this deformed too. I'm not using, except that they look too much similar to that color in my idea. But for these eyelashes, I think I prefer to use this other color, right? This purple color, right? So we can make their smaller also. Their orientation doesn't matter anymore because okay, so they are following perfectly, and because it's offset parenting, we can just displace them, but they don't hold any wave painting. So we're gonna fix that. We are going to again select this, Oh, I forgot now. Yes, we need to address their... Okay, so we see that we have the, again, these eyelids stuff that we don't want. So I'm going to make sure if I have a problem with the auto normalize, because so what I'm going to do is pick this, get maximum wave, maximum strength, and let's do with auto normalize here. Yeah, and I don't think the shift K auto normalized, it needs brushing, so but let's do it again anyways. Set waves. Now if I go on pose mode, on edit mode, item, yeah, didn't work, so I don't really want this, so let's... So this is the deform eyelash 02 is the only thing that we want, but yeah, let's skip that. So 1, 2, because we'll be using it in a moment. Could it be that it's not working because I have this locked? But this is not a deformed... Yeah, this is not a deformed bone, so it can have this value and it doesn't interfere with the rest. But it could be a bug. Oh, there's 0 waves, there's an operator there, but you see there are also waves that don't zero out perfectly despite the effort, so very obscure. So I wasn't aware of this issue, so okay, so here probably you can zero out. Clean the rate from all groups. No, not all groups. Okay, so this is let's do it. This is safer. And since we are here, let's also clean that. It helps that since the other is locked, we don't have to care about it. Alright, all this because I have extruded, right? So from data of already wave painted vertices. So, and actually we didn't, yeah, we didn't solve the bottom eyelash, which still holds some. No, we did that because I was doing top and bottom. I remember I did. So okay, so right now these waves are bad, right? So what we just need some redistribution. So very straightforward, very simple. Here I have my selection here, then I wave paint, go in wave paint mode. So I'm gonna work on these bones. I don't want auto normalize at this point. It was just an attempt and it didn't work. Didn't really help as it should, in my opinion. So here we're gonna wave this bone from the interior, the inner part I mean, towards the outer part, and then we can blur this out. Yeah, we can have blended waves there, that's perfectly fine, but maximum waves and in there, right? So, and that just blur out, or not even maximum wave, whatever, so just some gradation is good. Now for this one, same thing but the inverse, so you get more waves here. Here we can extend a little more. Let's blur this, and there we go, something like this should be fine. And then we can hold a maximum waves here. Yeah, this is not 1, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. And here now we're gonna reduce this. We're gonna blur this. We will hold for the center one some strength there, but we're gonna blur anyway. Same here. But we're gonna hold some stronger influence for the central one. It's important. So now this should be good wave painting. Let's make sure these are deformed bones. All right. And okay, so now the mesh, the eyelash mesh for the top eyelash is yeah, this is happening on the bottom because we took off all the waves, right, even from the eyelids bones, so it will be solved by its own deformed bones. So it's ugly now, but we don't bother. And here it's working because we already set waves for the top eyelash, so deformed bones. So here what we need to do, some strange things happening there on the mesh. I think it's it's just because of strange posing. So there are some dynamics. Now we need to set the automation, right? And if you're not satisfied, we can tweak those wave painting anyways for those 3 bones. But the idea was that, right, for at least for this character design. Then let's use the copy transforms. So remember, it already has a parenting. So copy transforms, we're gonna get local space with orientation and local space. So what this does, yeah, it has a maximum here, we can change that. But so as we pose this bone, the other bone starts to double the motion, whatever motion, rotation. So this could be dangerous for rotations, but yeah, so this could, but it's actually not that bad. So this doubling is not necessarily what we want, but we can so reduce this influence. Here I'm not having as a good motion down, so this is the thing that I believe this system needs some improvement. And here also, instead of replace, let's do before original. Alright, so this is already doing some part of the job, but we need more, so we're gonna do same thing here. Copy transforms, then before original, local space with rotation, local space. So this is my basal proportional posing setup, and we see it could do more. It's doing well there, but I think it's not enough. Maybe it's these excessive waves that I've made here, right? Yeah, maybe there are too much waves. So let's start to blur more there. And see if that helps. Yeah, kinda help. I think it's better. Yeah, that much better actually. So, and here, yeah, this shape, it's not, yeah, maybe here we need some more blended waves. So this I'm doing here is not really different than my original rig on that matter, so this is not particularly original at this point, but maybe we need to expand that. Yeah, let's do some. Yeah, let's try this. I'm not sure that it's improved a lot, so maybe this one needs a bit more, the center one. What about this? Okay, right, so they blend more waves, that seems fine. And this one also doesn't have yet, so this part usually is more delicate, so what you need, I never know if I need more or less, so local space, then before regional, and then just try some slight influence here, and maybe a little more. Yeah, maybe even more. Okay, so that should do. And so you see how oh, this is not actually working for this one. What happened? It has, I took off too much of its weight. Little mistake here for this deformed bone. Yeah, it needs strong waves here. Yeah, so let's resume this thing here. Resume now. Let's recover some of the waves here. That's a generic blur, and let's see now. Yeah, not totally satisfying. Maybe we need more, or you see, they need to work in sync, so it's not, yeah, we could do this forever, but actually this is not bad. It's just it could have some slight tweaking, and you see the rotations can help sometimes. Of course, we can create poses with that, or even action bone constraints if we want the perfect motion of some specific kinds of eyes blink. Yeah, I've just got that idea. We can save those actions through action bone constraints, and we can save poses, so you can have huge amount of expressions, dynamic expressions, all that. So as you can see, this system, well, maybe you cannot see because if you haven't watched my solution with the transformation bone constraints, you don't know how painful it was, or it can be. But this is much simpler, and this is the breakthrough, folks. I haven't thought that this was possible, and because I was working with this this file, right, this Gumroad eyelids rig, then eventually, well, maybe there are some ways to do differently the eyelash rig, and there we go. So proportional posing for the eyelashes, and with automation, right? And yeah, and then if we are not satisfied here, we can duplicate that. This one is 100, so we can maybe reduce it slightly. It depends, right? Depends. Now it's better, so you need to double, but we need to be careful about the rotations. So there are a few problems in this, and this doesn't cause any what is this? Okay, I'm going to close and reopen just to be sure. Hold on, let's just to make sure there's nothing going wrong on this. Yeah, no, nothing is wrong here. All right, so no dependency cycles, sorry, no issues, no bugs, so everything seems to be working fine. Yeah, we need to be careful about rotations. However, there should be alternatives, yet some additional inputs that we can make to have this less, to improve the possibilities of this for the proportional posing. This is what I'm interested now. Interested. So, for example, if we don't want the rotations, could we use a copy location? So the copy location is tricky. I prefer so as we see, local space with owner, so we're gonna use the same setup. So you see, but at 100 it is locked, and we don't have, yeah, we have the offset, which is okay. So these offsets in this kind of setup, the offsetting didn't go crazy. I think when we have world space, the offset is really bad. Yeah, it's like really hard to understand. But with this setup, yeah, I highly recommend this by default, local space with owner orientation, because if these bones are not oriented equally, for example, then what happens is that if you got this on local space, we might end up having some very strange, like one bone goes one direction, the other, yeah. So this is the default stuff, and I've just found out that offset property option here works just as the copy transforms on before original full. If we have this data, so this is very, very intriguing. So okay, so now we don't have the rotation influence. Oh, it still rotates, but this is because the parenting. Is it fine to have a copy location the same bone that it's parented? Yes, it doesn't seem to, Blender is not complaining. So all right. Otherwise, if this was not parented, okay, you see it doesn't rotate at all. But we don't have also the proportional posing. We need to duplicate this. Yeah, so now we have double transforms, and that works, and we don't have Blender complaining. So this will be an interesting alternative to the rotations. A bit odd, but yeah, that it seems to be safe. Really, copy location is very restrictive, but actually this should be the way to go. And then we can, of course, change that. Another good thing about copy location is that we can, I was testing, we can also make that only the Y, unfortunately not positive, what is this? Okay, I'm trying to invert and see what happens. Oh, the Y, it's not the Y, it's not, it's the Z, right? Although this is not aligned with world Z axis, it's aligned with the Z of this own bone. So okay, no, I'm just playing it. I don't want this inversion. What I want is just, I was just testing. All right, so now the bone stays in that, so we can work with that if we don't want to be stacking. So we could probably have something like, for example, maybe we could have these copy transforms, and then it stacks with more, but just the z-axis, right? Copy transforms. Hold on. Oh, the parenting. All right. This is doing the parenting. So let's redo the parenting here. So we have the first. So it stacks rotations, it stacks position, and then we want more of the vertical one. Yeah, but not anything else, right? And then I want more of the vertical one. I duplicate that. Yeah, it has a huge impact, right? And then I want even more of that. And how many? I can have as many as I want, but the it doesn't at some point. Yeah, it is strong, right? And does it gets Blender go crazy? Not at all. So that's good to know. So here, of course, so this is interesting. So I can have these different inputs, so I don't compromise, right, the rotations, which might be more delicate, right, for the characters. Another problematic is, I was wondering about, is, okay, what if I want more moving down than moving up? So this is where I just, if we needed that, well, we could pose that, right? So this is a bit more complicated, because these are proportional posing that are symmetric, completely symmetric, right? So I don't know how to automate asymmetry here for one axis, and this is not something that is absolutely required, right? But it could be useful. And I'm still trying to figure out if there's a way to do it. So for now, maybe I could just copy, yeah, let's pick those two bones and copy selected, copy location. I like that copy location thing, except we need to change the target, right? So copy location, change the target, copy location, change the target. So I have all this already preset. Let's see how this is faring. This is too much, so we can just reduce this influence. Good. And this, maybe it's too much also. Let's reduce this. Why this is, yeah, maybe we want that, I don't know. Copy transforms 100. In principle, the first copy transforms, yeah, it might not even, okay. Yeah, maybe this one particularly we don't want much, so this will be like just an extra input just for the Z, right? And it is still not good, but we can keep playing with that as we like. So until we find, sometimes just changing the geometry there is also a good solution. Like here, maybe must be careful though, because of the shrink wrapping features. Sometimes this can go wrong. Yeah, I can totally displace those things. let's see. Yeah, see, it created some difference, and actually it wasn't that good of changes, so let's try to smooth this out. Okay, so folks, this is details, right? So in principle, this is a much simpler way to get this automation for the eyelashes than I had before. So this is the breakthrough. I think this is a very fortunate finding. So proportional posing is really powerful for this kind of rigs. It's very simple also. Anything else that I would like to do here? Yes, the asymmetry, right? So what it will be the last thing I'll do here. So the asymmetry, of course, I want to develop this setup on all this eyelash rig on all these setups, and then kind of make a new version with eyelashes, right? So that will be very interesting. And then the next step, I would like to have a setup for the eye contact. That's another story. For now, I just got this working. This is fine. So here, what if I want this to go? Limit location. Proportional. Yeah, I'm out of ideas, folks. So maybe one way would be to, let's try something a bit crazy here. What if I get this copy location, but for this other target here? Just curious. So now this affects proportionally their could be useful. Although it's not, yeah, I see it moving, it's moving down this, but it would be like we don't want this to be moving, and it was more like, because it's a tip, right? Usually it's more like, but it could be useful for easiness of posing, right? It will be more like the opposite, this constrained by this. It will be like copy location, then we have this, then change the target. So as I pose here, yes, the middle one gets offset. Oh, aha. So because they work in synergy, this can actually be yeah, there are lots of, it starts to get a bit complicated, all the motion we can do, but oh, this is the way, right? Of course we can manipulate. Okay, it's like I don't know a way to fix, like I want this to move much more down than up as it goes down. So this kind of stuff I don't know, and I'm not even sure if my previous method transformation bound constraint were particularly good at it. It certainly had its own limitations regarding this proportional thing, but I think it had some control in that regard. So here we have different alternatives to the same problem. So what I can do here, so let's copy that. No, it's not that, it's this one. It has this, and target is different. Target is this one, so now also this can control up and down if we ever want that, of course. And we can change this behavior, right? Actually, not that bomb, this one. Yeah, it's on 100, right? Yeah, so we can actually have these adjustments by tweaking this, and of course changing the names. Can be pretty creative on this proportional relations, right? And if we need to move things to the side, or we still have these basal things. Actually, you have these basal things already from the parenting, right? Parenting offset. But we have additional input from the copy transforms, and the rest are just copy locations. These don't need a lot, I think. So it's the middle one that, and this is optional, right? So in this case, I prefer the middle one to have some being affected by the others, because I don't want the middle one to be budging too much these positions, because these are the corners of the eyes. I prefer that the corners are a bit more stiff. If we want to control the corner, we control them from that. So this is an animation for an intuition. I think it's safer. Alright folks, so this was my presentation here, and I have some work to do here in order to process this, but this would be like the how to build this. So from this kind of eyelids rig, right? I don't know how to work with the eyelashes if the eyelashes are a separate mesh object, because we cannot shrink wrap it to exactly that vertices. The shrink wrap modifier, for example, it has a target, but the target is from the object, the owner object. So, right, it's not there's no target vertex group for the target mesh object. So that means that if I had a separate object for the eyelash, yeah, I could target I could use its vertices here of the eyelash, like as the owners, right? They would, yeah, these would shrink wrap, but they would shrink wrap to what? Well, they would shrink wrap to whatever they find of mesh of the other mesh object. So this means that they might be displaced from the eye contour. So I don't really know how that would operate. I think it's riggers do that a lot, but I wasn't very fortunate with that system. But maybe that there should be options for that too, but I think this works very well. And so this is an iteration from what I already used to do, and this is much simpler. So screw the transformation bone constraint. It's very good, very powerful, but at the same time it's very annoying to set up. This is way easier, like at least 3 to 5 times easier. So that's it folks, thanks for watching. I hope I prepare something about that later along the time, and it might take some days or even weeks, because it's I'm still processing all these things, but at least we have this presentation, and if you want to make, you can already do this on top of and make your own experimentations. So this works, in my opinion, very, very well, just as good as the other one that is much harder. So this is like really, really good in my opinion. Of course, it's my preference, right? So if you have other ways of rigging eyelashes, dynamic expressive eyelashes, yeah, it's but there is not many content about that, and this I think is very good. So thanks folks, see you next time, take care and happy blending.